Hi guys, welcome to my first video for my blog, Wiccans Aren't Wicked. Today I just wanted to start off by talking about what exactly is Wicca, like the very basics of it. So the first thing we need to talk about to understand what Wicca is we need to establish what paganism is. So paganism is like an umbrella term for like all the non-Abrahamic religions. These religions would be paganism, they could be Buddhism, they could be Hinduism, anything that's not based off of Abraham, like Christianity, Judaism, that kind of stuff. Very often these non-Abrahamic religions tend to be polytheist. That doesn't mean all of them are. For example, Buddhism isn't. But like Hinduism and paganism, that kind of stuff, they are. It tends to be a trend. You also have to remember that Wicca specifically is a nature-based religion. So we find our deities within nature. So we see them in the sun, we see them in the moon. If you saw me looking into the side, you were watching me look at a tree and seeing deity in the tree outside my window. We see them in the squirrels that run around on the ground. We see them in the birds. We see them in the sunshine when it hits our face. That's how we connect with deity. And another key part, and this isn't even what religion or what Wicca is, it's what Wicca isn't. We do not worship the devil. You know, this would be like saying an atheist is worshiping God. We don't believe in the devil. That's not something we believe in. We don't believe in heaven and hell. So if we don't believe in hell, we can't worship the devil. It doesn't make any sense. And that tends to be people who don't understand Wicca. That's their immediate thought process, is that we're devil worshippers. But that's definitely not the case. So now that we've established paganism and we understand that Wicca is a religion within that umbrella term, we can move on more specifically to what is in Wicca. So in Wicca, what's very common is witchcraft. Something to remember, though, is not all witches are Wiccan and not all Wiccans are witches. So there are lots of witches who don't practice a faith. They're atheist, for example. So, yeah, you don't have to believe in Wicca to be a witch. That's just an add-on. That's a bonus feature. But also, not all Wiccans are witches. For like the first year of my practice, I was not interested in witchcraft at all. I was still very stuck in the mindset that witchcraft was very taboo and that it wasn't real. And I couldn't get past that, and it was actually something that was really inhibiting me from believing in Wicca because I thought I had to be a witch. Now, I still don't practice witchcraft very often, but I do sometimes, which I guess technically would make me a witch. But I don't classify myself as a witch, and I don't think there's anything wrong for those of you who do. I just think that when one identifies as a witch, they're bringing so many negative connotations in from other people that for me, being Wiccan in itself right now is still quite taboo, at least in my family, and I haven't really told a lot of them. So I'm leaving witch to the side right now. I'm not even bringing that into my identity quite yet. Maybe someday when I'm more comfortable in, I guess, in my own skin. And when I've talked to my family more about it, but for now, we're just going with Wiccan, and that's okay, and it's great if you identify as both. But I guess when we talk about witchcraft, we also have to talk about what is magic. So when I say that I do magic sometimes, I don't mean that I'm like from Harry Potter and I'm unlocking locks and I'm, stupefying people. Like that's not what I'm talking about. That's not how it works. It's not like what you see at a magic show where you just make a dove appear out of your hat. That stuff's not magic. What magic is using the energy around you and manipulating it into getting what you need from the universe. It's very much, the way I like to think of it is, if you've heard of the law of attraction, which means you think about what you want or what you need, and it comes to you. When I think of magic, I think of it being the law of attraction, but just way more powerful. Because not only are you using the law of attraction, you're not just saying you want these things, but you're finding other elements to help you achieve it. So you use herbs that are connected to what you're trying to achieve. You use candles, you use the elements. So you're not just using your words, you're using a bunch of different materials to get what you want from the universe. And so that's kind of what magic is. Also, we have rituals. Now, there's like universal rituals, and then you have personal rituals. So universal rituals would be stuff like hand fasting. So like two people connecting, coming together in their love, like a wedding, if you will. Or we have rituals for when a baby is born. We have rituals for when people pass on. And those are things that people gather together for and do them together, and it's universal. Everybody does these things, like funerals and stuff like that. Whereas you have your personal rituals, and these personal rituals don't have to just happen by yourself. Like if you're in a coven, which we'll talk about in another video, you could be doing them with a group of people. But I guess the idea with more personal rituals is that this is just you or your group of people that you're with worshiping your deities. It's not everybody is doing the same thing. So you create these rituals, or you can find ideas online and stuff like that too. But this ritual is very more just about you or your group. So for example, you would do a more personal ritual, like on a Sabbath, like on a Wiccan holiday or something like that. Or maybe things are just going really good in your life, and you wanna thank your deities for being there for you and all that stuff. You can have like just a little ritual and thank them for that. We also have divination, which falls under this whole witchcraft kind of idea, which is essentially being able to sense what is coming in your future, or being able to see how your past is affecting you today, or how you should be moving on in the present. Some people believe that your fate is locked in and you can't do anything to change it. Personally, I believe that when one does divination and you find out things about the future or your past or your present, I think what you find out is only relevant if you stay on the path that you're on. So if you find out through divination, which could be through tarot, pendulums, tea leaf readings, or like crystal ball readings, which is like scrying and all that, if you have a result and you don't like it, that result is only if you continue on the path that you're on. So you can change it. You see something you don't like, do something in your life that will change that result, and then maybe what you're looking for will happen then. And something else that you can and one last thing to tie in with the whole witchcraft thing is I was talking earlier about like how we use different materials along with the law of attraction to get what we want. And some of these various materials would be like herbs and candles and crystals. We use plants, all that kind of stuff. It's lots of things that you can find in nature. That's what we work with. So now we are going to talk about the holidays. So in Wicca, we have two main groups of holidays. We have the Sabbats and we have the Esbats. The Sabbats are focusing on the male, the masculine deity, And the Sabbats are focusing on the feminine, female aspects of deity. So with Sabbats, there is 8 main holidays. It's good to see this as like a circle. That's how we call it the Wheel of the Year. You have the 4 main points, which is the winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, and the fall equinox. And so the winter solstice, that is Yule. The spring equinox, that is Ostara. And then you have the summer solstice, and that's Litha, or it's called also as midsummer. Then you have the fall equinox, and that is Mabon. And then you have the 4 holidays in between, and those are our minor Sabbats. And those days would be Imbolc, Beltane, Lammas, and Samhain. And if I didn't pronounce any of those right, I'm sorry. I'm not like a Wicca professional. I'm just a Wicca believer. So, and then with the Sabbats, those are usually celebrated about once a month. Some people celebrate it twice a month. You can technically celebrate it whenever you want, but it's most commonly celebrated on the new moon and or the full moon. So yeah. And next we will move on to the Book of Shadows. It's very common for Wiccans and even just regular witches too to have what they call a Book of Shadows. If you are a Wiccan with a Book of Shadows, some of the things you will find in there are your personal beliefs. I hope that lighting's okay. The sun just kind of changed. You'll have your personal beliefs, your personal thoughts and opinions, any information you have about your craft. You'll also have your personal spells that you've tried. You can have, with just the spells, you can simply put like ingredients and directions, but you can also put how it went and if you think there's anything that you could adjust too. And same goes for rituals. You can just put how you do it and leave it at that, or you can also add how it went and if you would change anything. And also, something very important is a lot of people keep their Book of Shadows very private. It is a very personal book. Some people are more lenient about it. For me, it's not a big deal, but I'm also very bad at keeping it up to date. So that could also be a factor into why I don't care as much. But that's definitely something that I'm going to work on. And the very last thing that we're going to talk about today is religious books. So in a lot of religions, especially in the Abrahamic ones, it's very common to have a religious text, like the Bible, the Quran, that kind of stuff. But in Wicca, we don't. No Wiccan really believes in the exact same thing. We all have similar ideas and things that we believe in, but like I'm sure if I talk to any of you that are Wiccan, we would find at least one thing that we believe in that's not the same. And that's fine. That's one reason why I love Wicca. I love paganism because it is not a religion that has rules to follow. It's very much find your own path and enjoy it. And I love that. I love that about Wicca. So yeah, we don't have a book. We have religious freedom to believe what we want. One thing that we do have though is we have the Wiccan Read, which I will talk about more on another video, but to sum it up, it's like 1 or 2 pages long-ish, depending on how long your page is, I guess, of just general guidelines. And the one main guideline that we have is "and ye harm none, do as ye will." So as long as you're not harming anybody or anything, you're probably not doing anything wrong. And I think those are just words to live by. I think every religion has something like that, you know, do unto others as you do unto yourself. That's a big point in Christianity. So it's like the golden rule. But yeah, that's everything that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do have a giveaway going on my blog, which I'll leave a link to down below. Essentially, all you have to do is follow my blog and write a comment on the post that I have my giveaway on. On my post, it'll be called 11 Signs You're an Empath. There are rules on there for the giveaway. I'm ignoring those because no one was entering, and I really want to do this. So I'm simpling it down, making it easy. So follow and leave a comment. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I should hopefully have another one up for next week. But until then, blessed be. I love you guys.